The sensor panel flickered again and Relin smacked it with his palm. Third time in an hour. Nothing helped anymore. Everything was breaking down, piece by piece, system by system. He floated in the cramped maintenance shaft of the distant Hope, tools magnetic locked to his belt, trying to coax a few more days of life from equipment that should have been replaced years ago. Below him, through the thin floor panels, he could hear the refugees. 17,000 souls packed into a ship designed for 4,000. They coughed, they whispered prayers in 40 different languages, they tried to comfort children who cried in the dark. The distant Hope was just one ship. 16 others traveled with them, all in the same desperate condition, all running from the same nightmare. The harvesters had come 5 years ago. Nobody knew where they came from. Ancient machines, someone said, weapons from a forgotten war. It did not matter. They tore through star systems like wildfire, dismantling everything. Stations, planets, ships, people. Efficient, systematic, unstoppable. Relin's home colony had fallen 2 years back. He still remembered the sirens. The panic, the desperate scramble for the evacuation ships. He made it. His family did not. Now he kept old sensors working because that was all he could do, keep people alive one more day, one more hour. The emergency frequency crackled in his headset. Static mostly, that channel had been dead for decades. The old galactic distress band, back when there was a galactic government to answer distress calls. Relin almost ignored it. Then he heard something, not static, a pattern. He adjusted the receiver, filtering out interference. Words, broken and faint, but definitely words. His translator struggled with the syntax. The linguistic structure was wrong, not Kuvari, not Telnari, not any of the common languages. He ran it through the database. The computer took 30 seconds to respond. Everything was slow on the distant Hope. Human, the transmission was human. Relin's breath caught. Humans, the newcomers, the primitives from that little blue world on the far edge of the spiral arm. They had joined the galactic community only 40 years ago, eager and loud and hopelessly naive. They built military ships when everyone else built pleasure cruises. They talked about war and defense when the galaxy had not seen conflict in 10,000 years. People had laughed at them, called them paranoid, warlike, uncivilized. Then the harvesters came and the humans went silent. Earth stopped broadcasting 3 years ago. Their colonies went dark. Everyone assumed they were dead, just another extinct species, another victim. But this transmission was human, current, broadcasting on an emergency channel that nobody used anymore. Relin recorded it, cleaned up the audio, ran it through translation filters again. The message was short, coordinates, a timestamp, and 6 words in galactic standard. Hold position, help incoming, 20 hours. Relin's hands shook. He played it again, checked the coordinates. They were close. Maybe 4 light hours from the convoy's current position. He checked the timestamp, 14 minutes old. He pulled himself out of the maintenance shaft and kicked off toward the bridge. The corridors were packed with refugees, sleeping in shifts, sharing floor space. He squeezed past them, muttering apologies. The bridge was barely better. Captain Voras sat in his chair, ancient and exhausted. The Telnari commander had been running this convoy for 3 years. He looked like he had aged 30. Relin transmitted the recording to the bridge speakers. Everyone stopped. 5 officers, all from different species, all survivors of destroyed worlds. They listened in silence. "It's a trap," the navigator said. "Harvesters have captured human ships. They use recordings to lure survivors." "Harvesters don't lure," the weapons officer replied. "They just kill. This is different." Captain Voras rubbed his eyes. "Humans are dead. Earth is dead. We all know this. The transmission is old, a ghost signal bouncing through dead relays." "It's 14 minutes old," Relin said. "I checked. The timestamp is current." "Then it's pirates, scavengers. They use distress calls to rob refugee ships." Voras shook his head. "We keep moving. We voted on the route. We stay on course." "We could just listen," Relin said. "Hold position, see if anyone comes." "And if harvesters find us while we wait?" The captain's voice was sharp. "We have 17,000 people, children, wounded. We cannot risk them on a ghost." Relin wanted to argue, but the captain was right. They had been running for so long that stopping felt impossible. Trust felt impossible. Hope felt like a luxury they could not afford. The meeting ended. Relin returned to his maintenance duties. He tried to forget the transmission, tried to focus on keeping the environmental systems running, the sensors functional, the engines from tearing themselves apart. But he kept that emergency channel open, just in case. 12 hours later, the jump drive failed. The distant Hope shuddered, dropped out of faster-than-light travel, and went dead in space. Emergency lights flickered on. Relin was back in the maintenance shafts, this time near the engine core. He heard the whine of dying systems, felt the ship settle into the quiet of powerless drift. The other 16 ships dropped out around them, all asking the same question. What happened? What do we do? The answer came 3 hours later. Long-range sensors picked up the signature. Harvester scouts, 7 of them, 12 hours away and closing fast. The convoy had no weapons, no working jump drive, no way to run. Captain Voris called an emergency meeting. Officers gathered, arguments started. Some wanted to surrender, some wanted to scatter in different directions, some just sat in silence, accepting death. Relin checked his sensor panel, the coordinates from the transmission. They were close, maybe 6 light hours now. He looked at the captain. "Send the message again," Relin said. "The human transmission, send it back, tell them where we are." "They're not coming," Voris said quietly. "Nobody is coming." But he sent it anyway, because there was nothing else to do. 10 hours passed, the harvesters kept approaching. The convoy tried to repair the jump drive. It was hopeless, everything was hopeless. Relin worked on the sensors, keeping them online, watching the harvester scouts grow closer. 8 hours away, 6 hours, 4. Then something changed. His sensor panel lit up like a star going nova. A massive energy signature dropping out of hyperspace right on top of them. The computer struggled to analyze it. Size 4 times the largest convoy ship. Power output off the scale. Weapon signatures, dozens of them. Unknown configuration. The identification transponder came through. Human military vessel, UHSV Relentless. Registry codes from Earth Defense Fleet. Relin stared at the screen. After 3 years of silence, after everyone had given up, after hope had died and been buried and mourned. A human warship had just appeared on their scanners. The communication came through. Clean, clear, professional, a woman's voice speaking perfect galactic. "Standard. Refugee convoy, this is Commander Patricia Stone of the Relentless. We have your position. Break left on my mark and hold formation. We'll handle the scouts." Captain Voris sat frozen in his chair. His hands gripped the armrests. "Break left," the human commander said again. "Now." The convoy ships moved like wounded animals, slow and clumsy, breaking formation to the left. Relin watched his sensor displays, hands frozen on the console. The Relentless positioned itself between them and the approaching harvester scouts. The human ship was massive compared to their refugee vessels, but against 7 harvester units, it looked tiny. The harvesters did not slow down. They never did. Relin had watched them destroy fleets, stations, entire orbital defensive grids. They calculated, adapted, and killed with perfect efficiency. Nothing stopped them. Nothing even slowed them. The Relentless opened fire. Relin had seen weapons before. Plasma cannons, particle beams, missile swarms. Standard galactic technology, ceremonial mostly, used for celebrations and parade demonstrations. The galaxy had not fought a real war in 10,000 years. Their weapons were art pieces, beautiful and useless. Human weapons were different. The first salvo hit like a meteor strike. Kinetic accelerators, the sensors reported. Primitive, chunks of metal moving at relativistic speeds, simple physics, mass times velocity. The kind of weapon a civilization built when they understood violence, when they remembered war. 3 harvester scouts disappeared from his screen, just gone, vaporized. The other 4 scattered, their formation breaking. Relin had never seen harvesters retreat, had never seen them react with anything like confusion, but they were reacting now. The Relentless fired again. Missiles this time, dozens of them, spread wide and tracking independently. 2 more harvesters went dark. The last 2 returned fire, their energy weapons scoring hits on the human ship's hull. Damage reports flickered across Rellen's secondary screen. The Relentless had taken hits, bad ones, but it kept firing. 90 seconds after the battle started, it was over. 7 Harvester scouts destroyed. The Relentless hung in space, wounded but alive. The convoy sat in stunned silence. Captain Voras found his voice first. "This is convoy vessel Distant Hope. We thank you for your assistance." "Acknowledged, Distant Hope." Commander Stone's voice remained calm, like she had just done something routine. "Stand by. We're sending engineering teams to assist with repairs. Your jump drive failure was detected. We can fix it." Relin looked at the captain. Voras looked back. Neither spoke. What do you say to someone who just did the impossible? 20 minutes later, a human shuttle docked with the Distant Hope. 6 people came aboard, wearing functional gray uniforms with tool belts and equipment packs. The lead engineer was a short man with dark hair and quick eyes. His name tag read Park, Chief Warrant Officer Danny Park. "Your jump drive," Danny said, shaking Rellen's hand. "Human greeting custom, physical contact. Where is it?" Rellen led them through the crowded corridors. Refugees pressed against the walls, staring at the humans. Children pointed, adults whispered. The humans smiled, nodded, kept moving, professional, focused. The engine room was a disaster. Burned relays, blown conduits, jury-rigged repairs on top of older jury-rigged repairs. Danny looked around, hands on his hips, and whistled. "You've been running this how long?" 3 years, Rellen said. 3 years, Danny shook his head. "That's impressive, that's really impressive. Okay, team, let's see what we can do." They went to work. Rellen watched them move with practiced efficiency. They did not hesitate, did not waste motion. Every action had purpose. Within 10 minutes, they had identified the main failures. Within 30, they had pulled out damaged components and started installing replacements from their equipment packs. "You carry spare parts for alien ships?" Rellen asked. "We carry parts for everything." Danny was elbow-deep in a power coupling, his voice muffled. "Been doing search and rescue for 8 months now. You learn to adapt. Most species use similar basic principles. Once you understand the underlying physics, you can make anything work with anything else." 8 months? "Yeah," Danny pulled himself out of the coupling, wiping his hands on his uniform. "The Relentless has been running deep patrol since the Harvesters hit our outer colonies. We're supposed to be finding survivors, rendering assistance, mapping Harvester movements." He smiled. "Today's a good day. We found you." Rellen helped where he could, mostly by staying out of the way and passing tools. The human engineers worked like a single organism. They communicated. In shorthand, anticipated each other's needs, solved problems faster than Rellen could follow their thinking. This was not just skill. This was training, years of it, maybe decades, a culture that took technical competence seriously. 4 hours later, Danny stood up and stretched. "Okay, fire it up." Rellen activated the jump drive. The system hummed, stabilized, held steady. Green indicators across the board. "It's working. How did you fix it so fast?" "We didn't fix it," Danny grinned. "We bypassed the broken parts, rerouted power through secondary systems, and reinforced the load-bearing components. It's not pretty, but it'll hold for 20 jumps, maybe 30. After that, you'll need proper repairs." "We don't have facilities for proper repairs. We don't have anywhere to go." Danny's expression changed. The smile faded. "Yeah, that's the situation, isn't it? Where were you headed?" "Away," Rellen gestured vaguely. "Just away from Harvester territory. There are rumors of safe zones in the outer rim, uninhabited systems where they haven't spread yet. Running won't work forever. They keep expanding. We've been tracking their pattern." Danny pulled out a small data tablet, showed Rellen a galactic map covered in red markers, Harvester-controlled space. It covered most of the known galaxy. "They're systematic. They'll reach the outer rim eventually." "Then what do we do?" "You survive, you keep people alive, you don't give up." Danny met his eyes. That's what we're doing. Earth went dark 3 years ago. We don't know what happened there. Maybe it's gone, maybe not. But we're still here. We're still fighting. That's what matters. Relin thought about that. The galaxy had 10,000 years of peace, 10,000 years of soft living. When the harvesters came, civilization collapsed in months, not because they lacked technology, because they forgot how to fight, how to sacrifice, how to stand against something that wanted them dead. Humans remembered. Earth built warships during peacetime because they knew peace was temporary. They maintained military forces because they understood the universe did not care about your wishes. And when everything fell apart, when the galaxy burned, humans did not run. They fought. They rescued. They kept moving forward. Long-range sensors are picking up something, one of the bridge officers called over the comm system. Big signature, coming fast. Danny checked his own tablet, his expression going hard. Harvester Battle Group, responding to the scouts' destruction, 47 units. Relin felt his stomach drop, 47. Yeah, Danny started packing his tools. Commander Stone expected this. It's why we needed to get your jump drive working fast. You need to leave now. What about you? We'll buy you time. Danny shouldered his equipment pack, headed for the door. His team followed. Get your people ready to jump. Do it as soon as the coordinates come through. Don't wait, don't look back. You can't fight 47 harvesters. Danny stopped at the door, looked back. Probably not, but we can slow them down, that's enough. You'll die. Maybe, Danny smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. But you won't, that's the deal. He left. Relin stood alone in the engine room, listening to the hum of the repaired jump drive, thinking about humans and sacrifice and what it meant to buy someone else's life with your own. Captain Vora stood on the bridge of the distant Hope, staring at the tactical display. The Harvester Battle Group grew closer every minute. 47 war machines against one human frigate. The math was simple. The outcome was certain. Commander Stone, Vora said, his voice rough. Please, don't do this. You saved us already. Run with us. We can all jump together. Negative, distant hope. Stone's voice came through clear and steady. The harvesters will track your jump signature. They'll follow. Someone needs to give them a different target. Keep their attention here while you get clear. You're condemning yourself and your crew. We're doing our job, Captain. A pause. This is what the Relentless was built for. Why Earth sent us out here, to buy time, to save people, to stand when everything else falls. Another pause longer. We've saved 14,000 people in the last 8 months, evacuated colony worlds, pulled survivors from dying stations. Every time we knew the odds, every time we went anyway, today's no different. Why? The question burst out of Voras before he could stop it. Why would you die for us? For aliens you don't know? For a galaxy that laughed at you when you built your warships? Stone did not answer immediately. When she spoke again, her voice was quieter. My daughter asked me something similar before I deployed. She was 12. Smart kid. She said, Mom, why do we have to go save people who weren't nice to us, who called us primitive? Voras waited. I told her that being good isn't about keeping score. It's not about who deserves help and who doesn't. When someone needs you, you go. When someone's dying, you try to save them. Not because they earned it, because it's right. Because if we only helped people who were nice to us, we'd be just as lost as the harvesters, machines following cold logic. Where is your daughter now? Silence, long enough that Voras thought the connection had dropped. Then Stone spoke again. Earth, she's on Earth, or was, I don't know anymore. We lost contact 3 years ago. Every day I hope she made it out. Every day I tell myself that maybe she's safe somewhere and someone like me is protecting her, keeping her alive. That's why I do this, Captain, because somewhere someone's daughter needs help, and I'm here, so I go. Voras closed his eyes. He had commanded warships once. Decades ago when he was young and the galaxy still had a military. Ceremonial duties mostly. Parades, escort missions, nothing real. He had never faced a choice like this. Stand and die so others could live. The galaxy had forgotten how. I'm staying, a voice said. Voras turned. Relin stood at the bridge entrance wearing a human equipment vest. Tools and sensors hung from the belt. I'm staying with the Relentless. My sensor expertise might help. Absolutely not, Voris said. Captain, I respect you, but this isn't your choice. Rellen's voice was calm, certain. I lost everything already, my family, my home, my world. I've been running for 2 years, fixing sensors, keeping people alive one more day. It's important work. Someone has to do it. But today I can do more. I can help them fight. Maybe my sensors give them an extra 30 seconds. Maybe that's enough to buy the convoy more distance. You'll die. Probably, Rellen smiled. It surprised him. He had not smiled in months. But I'll die doing something that matters, standing with people who came across the galaxy to save strangers. That's worth something. Dr. Hallam stepped forward. The medical officer had been quiet throughout the crisis, treating patients, saving lives with almost no supplies. I want to stay too. No, Voris said. I forbid it. You can't. Hallam's species were pacifists. They did not fight, did not believe in violence, but his eyes were steady. I took an oath. To preserve life. These humans are preserving 17,000 lives. If I can help them survive even 1 minute longer, every second extends the convoy's escape window. The math is clear. Commander Stone's voice came through again. Convoy, we show volunteers requesting transfer, permission to accept them aboard Relentless. Voris looked at Rellen, at Hallam, at the bridge crew watching him. He thought about the galaxy that was, the peace that had lasted so long they forgot it was a gift, the safety they took for granted, all of it built on the assumption that nothing would ever threaten them, that civilization was permanent. The harvesters taught them otherwise, but humans already knew. Earth built its warships during peace because they remembered war. They trained their soldiers because they knew peace required guardians. The galaxy had called them paranoid, warlike, primitive. The galaxy had been wrong. Permission granted, Voris said quietly, and thank you, both of you. Rellen transferred to the Relentless on the same shuttle that brought Danny's team back. The human ship was nothing like the distant Hope. Everything was efficient, compact, purposeful, no wasted space, no decoration, a ship built to fight. Danny met him in the hangar. Sensors right? Commander Stone said you're good. I keep old equipment working. I notice patterns. Good enough? Danny handed him a patch. Human military insignia, Earth Defense Fleet. Your crew now, welcome aboard. The bridge of the Relentless was organized chaos. Officers moved between stations, calling out readings, coordinating defensive positions. Commander Stone sat in the center, watching multiple displays, her face calm. She glanced at Rellen. You know you're probably going to die here. Yes. Good, I don't like lying to people. She gestured to a sensor station. That's yours. Lieutenant Tanaka will brief you on our tactical systems. We have 38 minutes before the harvesters arrive. Learn fast. Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka was young, focused, and talked faster than Rellen could follow. She showed him the human sensor arrays, combat tracking systems, threat analysis programs. Everything was different from galactic standard, more aggressive, more detailed, designed to find weakness, to kill. We're not trying to win, Tanaka explained. We're trying to survive 30 minutes, maybe 40, long enough for the convoy to jump. And get clear, after that we withdraw if possible. If not possible, we make them pay for every meter. How many battles like this have you fought? Personally, 15, the Relentless, more than 40 since deployment. She pulled up a tactical map. We use the debris field. Harvester sensors are good, but they're predictable. They follow patterns. We break patterns, stay random, force them to adjust constantly. It slows their targeting, not much, but enough. Rellen studied the map. The debris field was massive, remains of a destroyed station. Thousands of metal fragments, dead satellites, frozen atmosphere. They'll surround us. Probably we'll deploy drones, missile clusters, make ourselves look like 10 ships instead of one. When they commit to an attack vector, we hit them from a different angle. Then we move, fast. She looked at him. Your job is to track their formation changes. Tell us where the gaps are, where they're weakest. Give us targets. I can do that. Then we might live, she smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had done this before, who knew the cost, who went anyway. The Harvester battle group arrived exactly on schedule, 47 units in perfect formation, moving with mechanical precision. The Relentless deployed its drones, fired its missiles, and dove into the debris field. Relin watched his sensors, tracking movement patterns, calling out formations. The battle began, and for the first time in 2 years, Relin fought back. 12 minutes into the battle, the Relentless had taken 17 hits. Hull breaches on decks 3 and 5, fire in the port missile bay, 2 crew members dead, 5 wounded. The ship kept fighting. Relin's sensor station showed the tactical situation in brutal clarity. The Harvesters had lost 6 units. The Relentless had lost nothing it could not afford to lose. Not yet. But the math was inevitable. 41 Harvesters against 1 frigate. Time was the enemy. Gap forming in Sector 4, Relin called out. 3 units shifting to pursue our drones. Confirmed, Commander Stone said. Helm, bring us about. Weapons, target the gap. Fire when ready. The Relentless spun, fired, moved again. The pattern repeated. Attack, withdraw, reposition. Use the debris. Make them work for every shot. The convoy had 28 minutes to prepare their jump. 28 minutes for 17,000 people to live. Or die based on how long this ship could hold. Then Relin's sensors screamed. Not an alert, a scream. Energy signatures appearing from nowhere, multiple contacts, big ones. His screen filled with new readings. He checked the data twice, certain it was an error. It was not an error. Commander, his voice cracked. New contacts, 14 ships, human signatures coming in fast. The bridge went silent. Stone leaned forward, studying her own displays. Confirm identification. Confirmed, UHSV Defiant, UHSV Guardian, UHSV Steadfast. Relin kept reading names. 14 human warships appearing from hyperspace in coordinated formation. They're real, they're here. The communication channels lit up. A new voice, older, weathered. Relentless, this is Admiral Richard Hayes aboard the Defiant. Sorry we're late to the party. Shall we even the odds? Commander Stone's expression broke into something that might have been a smile. Admiral, good timing. We have civilian convoy in jump preparation, 17,000 souls. Request you assist in screening their departure. That's why we're here, Commander. All ships weapons free. Show these machines what happens when they pick on refugees. The 14 human ships spread into attack formation and opened fire. The Harvester battle group tried to adapt, but they were surrounded now. Outnumbered, the mechanical precision that made them deadly became a weakness. They could not improvise, could not react to chaos. The battle turned into a massacre. Human ships working in coordinated groups, hitting Harvesters from multiple angles, using tactics that made no sense to machines that fought in predictable patterns. 20 minutes later, the Harvester battle group was destroyed. The humans had lost 1 ship. The UHSV Guardian rammed into a Harvester cruiser to protect a damaged frigate. 200 crew gone in an instant. The convoy jumped during the battle, got clear. 17,000 people saved. Relin sat at his station, watching the tactical display clear. Around him, the bridge crew worked in silence. No celebration, no victory speeches, just people doing their jobs, mourning their losses, preparing for whatever came next. Set course for Rally Point 7, Admiral Hayes transmitted. All ships standard formation, the convoy will meet us there. 6 hours later, the distant Hope dropped out of hyperspace into what should have been empty void. Instead, Relin's sensors showed him something impossible. A massive ancient structure kilometers across, Forerunner design older than any living species, and around it ships, hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. All broadcasting human military transponders. Captain Vora stood on the bridge, staring at the view screen. What is this? This is Rally Point 7, Commander Stone replied. She sounded tired but satisfied. Welcome to the Resistance. The distant Hope docked at the Forerunner station. Relin followed Captain Voras through corridors filled with activity. Human engineers working alongside alien technicians. medical bays treating patients from 40 different species, supply depots distributing food, medicine, equipment, children playing in makeshift schools, people rebuilding lives from nothing. Admiral Hayes met them in what had been a Forerunner command center. The old structure was massive, partially restored, humming with power. Hayes was tall, gray-haired, carrying himself with the weight of command. Behind him stood dozens of other officers, human and alien, mixed crews. Captain Vores, Hayes shook his hand, human greeting. We've been tracking your convoy for 2 weeks, tried to reach you earlier, but communications in Harvester space are difficult. How many, Vores asked, how many refugees? Here, 2 million, give or take, scattered across 18 safe zones like this one. We've been gathering survivors since the war started, protecting them, organizing them. Hayes gestured to the command center. This station is Forerunner technology. We found it 6 months ago, hidden in a nebula. The harvesters missed it. We've been using it as a coordination hub. Coordination for what? For this, Hayes pulled up a galactic map. Red markers showed Harvester territory. It covered most of known space. Blue markers showed human positions, scattered, outnumbered, but organized. We're not running anymore, Captain. We're fighting back. Dr. Hallam stepped forward. Fighting back against that, he pointed to the red zones. They control everything. They outnumber you 1,000 to 1. True, Hayes zoomed the map to the galactic core. But we found something. Dr. Okonkwo, if you would. A woman in a science uniform stepped up, African features, intense eyes. We've been studying captured harvester technology. Took us months, but we found the pattern. The harvesters aren't independent, they're networked, coordinated by a central command signal. She highlighted a point deep in the core. Here, a Forerunner command nexus, ancient beyond measure. The harvesters are using it as their coordination hub. Every unit receives instructions from this location. If we sever that connection, they lose coordination. They become predictable, beatable. How do you sever it? Vores asked. We go there. Hayes said it simply, like it was obvious. We take a strike force into the heart of Harvester territory, into the galactic core. We infiltrate the nexus and upload a virus into their network. That's suicide. Probably. Hayes met his eyes. But it's the only offensive option we have. Right now we're saving people, buying time, but time runs out. The harvesters keep spreading. Eventually they'll find all the safe zones. Kill everyone unless we act. Relin listened to the plan, analyzed it like a sensor problem. Find the source, disrupt the signal, break the network. The logic was sound, the execution was impossible. But humans did impossible things. They saved 17,000 people today with 47 harvesters shooting at them. They survived 8 months behind enemy lines. They built a resistance from nothing. When Relin asked, Hayes looked at him. 3 days, we're assembling the strike force now, volunteers only. The mission probability is less than 20%. Most of the fleet will stay here protecting the refugees, but we need enough ships to fight through to the Nexus. I volunteer. The words came out before Relin thought about them. The Relentless took me on, made me crew. I stay with my ship. Commander Stone stepped forward. The Relentless volunteers, full crew, we've come this far. Other voices joined. Human commanders, alien officers, people who had been running, who were tired of running, who wanted to hit back, who wanted to mean something. Captain Vores watched them, the old Telnari commander who had spent 3 years keeping refugees alive, who had forgotten what it meant to fight. He straightened. For the first time in years, he looked like a military officer again. The Distant Hope volunteers as well. We have crew who can fight, who want to fight. He looked at Hayes. You saved us. You showed us how to stand. Let us stand with you. Hayes nodded slowly. Then we have our fleet, 31 human ships, 12 allied vessels. Against 5,000 harvesters defending the Nexus. He smiled. It was not a happy smile. I've faced worse odds. When, someone asked. Never, Hayes admitted, but there's a first time for everything. 3 weeks into the journey, Relin had stopped counting days. Time blurred when you traveled through unstable jump corridors, sleeping in shifts, always watching sensors for harvester patrols. The strike force moved like ghosts through dead space, using routes that barely existed, routes that might collapse and tear their ships apart. But the harvesters would not expect them, could not predict them. The Relentless had changed. Human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, upgrading systems, improving weapons. Danny showed Relin how to modify sensor arrays for deep space tracking. Lieutenant Tanaka taught him human tactical doctrine. Commander Stone ran combat drills with mixed crews until everyone moved like a single unit. 43 ships had left the rally point. 31 returned human. 12 carried mixed crews commanded by officers from a dozen different species. They lost 2 ships to navigation hazards, jumped into a gravity well that should not have existed. Gone in seconds, 83 people. The fleet held a memorial, spoke their names, kept moving. Relin stood watch on the bridge during third shift, quiet hours when most crews slept. He studied the galactic map, watching their position creep closer to the core, to the Nexus, to 5,000 harvester units that would kill them all. Can't sleep. Dr. Hallam floated onto the bridge, moving carefully in the low gravity. Too much thinking. Dangerous habit. Hallam anchored himself to a safety rail. I've been thinking, too, about what happens if we succeed, if we break their coordination. We win, Relin said. Do we? The doctor's voice was soft. The harvesters will still exist, thousands of them, scattered across the galaxy, disorganized but still deadly, and will still be broken, billions dead, civilizations destroyed, worlds burned. Even if we win this battle, the war continues for decades. Then we fight for decades. I took an oath to preserve life, to heal, to help. Hallam looked at his hands. I never imagined I would be on a warship planning an attack that will kill thousands of machines and probably kill us in the process. My people are pacifists. We believe in peace, in understanding. The harvesters don't understand peace. No, Hallam smiled sadly. Humans understand something we forgot. That peace requires guardians, that sometimes you must stand between the innocent and the darkness, not because you want to fight, because someone has to. Commander Stone's voice came over the ship-wide comm. All crew, prepare for final jump. We're 30 minutes from the target. Combat stations in 20. The bridge came alive. Officers arriving, running pre-combat checks. Weapons systems powering up, shields at maximum. Relin took his sensor station, hands steady despite his racing heart. This was it. 3 weeks of travel, months of planning, years of running, all ending in the next few hours. The strike force dropped into normal space at the edge of the galactic core. Relin's sensors immediately screamed warnings, energy readings off every scale, massive gravitational distortions, radiation levels that would kill unshielded humans in minutes. And there, in the center of the chaos, the Forerunner Nexus. It was beautiful, terrible, ancient. A structure kilometers across, built by a civilization dead for millions of years, geometric patterns that hurt to look at, power conduits pulsing with energy, and around it, like flies around a corpse, the harvesters. 5,000 war machines in perfect formation, orbiting the Nexus in defensive patterns. They had been waiting. Somehow they knew. All ships, Admiral Hayes transmitted from the Defiant. They know we're here. Plan Alpha is scrapped. We go to Plan Charlie. Maximum aggression. Hit them hard, hit them fast, break through to the Nexus. The infiltration team launches in the chaos. Understood, Commander Stone replied. She looked at Relin. You're with the infiltration team. Pack your gear. What? I'm a sensor operator. You're also the best at finding patterns. The Nexus will be defended internally. Automated systems, Forerunner security. We need someone who can read sensor data and find safe paths. She held his gaze. Danny recommended you, said you're smart and you don't panic. That's what we need. 10 minutes later, Relin stood in the Relentless hangar wearing a human combat suit. It felt wrong. Heavy. He was a technician. A refugee who fixed broken sensors, not a soldier, not someone who infiltrated ancient alien facilities. Danny checked his equipment, making sure everything was secured. Remember the training, stay with. The team, trust your sensors, don't try to be a hero. What if I fail? Then we all die, Danny grinned. No pressure. The infiltration team consisted of 8 people. Commander Stone leading, Danny for engineering, Dr. Hallam for xenobiology in case they encountered biological hazards, 4 human Marines, and Relin, the sensor specialist who still could not believe this was happening. The strike force engaged the harvesters. 41 ships against 5,000 machines, the space around the Nexus filled with weapons fire. Explosions, debris, ships dying, machines burning. The battle was chaos, perfect chaos. The infiltration shuttle launched into that chaos, weaving between capital ships and harvester cruisers. The pilot was insane, had to be. Nobody sane flew like this. Relin watched his sensors, calling out threats. Left, right, up, down, missiles, energy beams, debris fields. They reached the Nexus surface. The pilot slammed them down on a landing platform, and they were out, running across alien metal toward a massive entrance. Behind them, the battle raged. The fleet was dying, buying them time measured in minutes. The entrance opened, Forerunner technology responding to their approach, or maybe it was a trap, maybe the harvesters wanted them inside. Relin could not tell anymore. His hands shook, his breath came fast. Commander Stone grabbed his shoulder. Stay focused, we're counting on you. They went inside, the entrance sealed behind them, and Relin realized that even if they succeeded, even if they broke the harvester network, he would probably never leave this place. The Nexus would be his tomb. But 2 million refugees lived because humans refused to abandon them, because people stood and fought, because courage was contagious. If he died here, at least he died standing. The team moved deeper into the Nexus. Behind them, through the thick walls, Relin could hear the battle, ships screaming, weapons firing, his people dying. He activated his sensors and started looking for the central control chamber, looking for a way to end this. Time was running out for all of them. The Nexus interior was a maze, corridors that bent in wrong directions, gravity that shifted without warning, walls covered in symbols from a dead civilization. Relin's sensors struggled to map the space. Forerunner technology operated on principles he did not understand, could not understand, but he tried. Anyway, central chamber should be ahead, he said, studying his readings. Big energy source, maybe 200 meters, but there are automated defenses between here and there. Can we bypass them? Commander Stone asked. Maybe if we use the maintenance shafts. Forerunners built redundant systems, secondary pathways for repair drones. They moved through the shafts, tight spaces, dark. The sound of the battle filtered through the walls, muffled explosions, the scream of dying ships. Relin checked his chronometer. They had been inside for 18 minutes. The fleet was supposed to hold for 30, maybe 40. A Marine died in the third corridor. Automated defense turret, hidden in the walls. It fired once. She was gone before anyone could react. The team kept moving. No time to mourn, no time to think. They reached the central chamber. It was massive, alien, beautiful in a way that made Relin's mind hurt. The walls pulsed with energy, conduits running everywhere. And in the center, a control nexus, the heart of the Harvester network. Dr. Okonkwo had given them the virus, a piece of code written specifically to disrupt Forerunner command protocols. Upload it to the central system. Let it spread through the network. Break the coordination that made harvesters unstoppable. Danny started setting up the upload equipment. His hands moved fast, connecting cables, routing power. This is going to take 10 minutes, maybe 15. The system is fighting me. We don't have 15 minutes, Stone said. Her comm unit crackled with static, pieces of transmissions from the fleet. Damage reports, casualties, ships going dark. Relin monitored his sensors. The automated defenses knew they were here. More turrets activating, security systems coming online. We have company, multiple contacts, closing fast. The Marines formed a defensive perimeter, weapons ready. The first wave of security drones entered the chamber. Small machines, fast, armed with energy weapons. The Marines opened fire. The chamber filled with light and noise. Dr. Hallam worked beside Danny, helping route power systems. The pacifist doctor who swore to preserve life, now helping upload a virus that would kill thousands of machines. But machines that killed billions of living beings. Sometimes peace required hard choices. Another Marine fell, then another. The security drones kept coming. Relin grabbed a weapon from a fallen soldier. He had never fired a gun before, did not know how. He pointed it at targets and pulled the trigger. Sometimes he hit them, mostly he missed. 7 minutes, Danny called out. The upload is fighting system encryption. I need 7 more minutes. Commander Stone was bleeding from a cut on her forehead. She fired her weapon in controlled bursts, professional, calm even now. Everyone hold 7 minutes, we can do this. Relin's sensors showed new readings. Bigger contacts coming from deeper in the Nexus, not security drones, something else. He enhanced the readings, his breath caught. Harvester units, inside the Nexus, 3 of them, full combat configuration. Stone swore, how long until they reach us? 4 minutes. Danny, still need 7. The math was simple. They needed 7 minutes. They had 4. After that, 3 Harvester war machines would enter this chamber and kill everyone. The Marines could not stop them. Nothing could. Stone made a decision. Hallam, take over the upload. Danny, teach him. I'm taking the Marines. We'll delay the Harvesters. Commander, you can't, Danny protested. Someone has to. The mission matters more than any of us. She looked at her remaining Marines, 2 left, 2 out of 4. With me, we buy them time. They left. Relin heard the weapons fire in the corridors, heard the screams, heard Commander Patricia Stone, who had a daughter somewhere, who saved 14,000 people who never gave up, making her last stand against 3 war machines. The weapons fire stopped 4 minutes later. Upload at 80%, Hallam said quietly. His hands shook. 3 more minutes. Relin checked his sensors. The Harvesters were coming. Stone had bought them 4 minutes. 4 minutes of courage, 4 minutes of sacrifice. Now they were out of time. Danny looked at Relin. Get Hallam out. When the upload hits 90%, it can finish itself. You 2 run. I'll hold here. No. That's not a request. That's an order from your chief engineer. Danny smiled. It was sad. Someone needs to survive. Someone needs to tell the story. How humans and aliens fought together. How we stood. How we mattered. The Harvesters entered the chamber. 3 massive machines built to kill. They saw Danny, saw Relin, saw Hallam, raised their weapons. The upload hit 90%. Now Danny shoved them toward the exit. Run. Relin grabbed Hallam and ran. Behind them, Danny opened fire. 1 man against 3 war machines, buying seconds, buying time. The last thing Relin heard was Danny laughing, actually laughing, like this was exactly where he wanted to be. The upload completed. The virus spread through the Nexus, through the Harvester network, through 5,000 machines. The effect was instantaneous. In the space around the Nexus, the Harvester fleet stopped moving. Their coordination vanished. They began firing on each other. Navigation systems failed. Targeting computers went offline. Perfect efficiency became total chaos. The surviving human ships pressed the attack. 11 remained out of 41. They destroyed the confused Harvesters systematically, professionally. The battle that should have been their tomb became their victory. Relin and Hallam reached the surface, found a damaged shuttle, got it working, lifted off as the Nexus began collapsing, the ancient structure destroying itself, taking its secrets with it. They docked with the Defiant. Admiral Hayes was dead. The Relentless was gone. Commander Stone was gone. Danny was gone. 30 ships and 12,000 people had died to break the Harvester network. But they had broken it. Across the galaxy, Harvester forces lost coordination, became predictable, beatable. The scattered resistance forces began winning, taking back systems, saving people. 6 months later, Relin stood on the bridge of a refitted warship. The second chance, they called it, Mixed crew, human and alien, Kuvari and Telnari and 40 other species, all fighting together. They were heading toward Earth, toward Sol's system, toward the heart of Harvester territory, because humans had gone into the dark for them. Now the galaxy went into the dark for humanity. The war was not over, would not be over for years, but they were winning, because humans taught them something the galaxy had forgotten. That courage was a choice. That hope required action. That standing together meant standing against darkness. Relin wore a human military patch on his uniform, Earth Defense Fleet. He earned it. They all earned it. The mission continued, always would, because some things were worth fighting for, worth dying for, worth living for. And somewhere in the dark, 17,000 refugees lived free because a human warship appeared on their scanners. Because people refused to run. Because courage was contagious.